Welcome to the latest midweek car competition judging video here at BOTB. We'll now hand over to the lawyer from Onside Law who'll oversee the proceedings.
My name's George Cottle from Onside Law, and I'll be overseeing the judging this morning. Firstly, I can confirm that the competition data has already been sent to the auditing company as is. I would now like today's judges to introduce themselves and, using the secure link provided, mark on the screen where they think the centre of the ball should be. The group will then come to a final panel decision.
Good morning, my name is Matt Cannon. I'm a senior county referee and footballer.
My name's Liam Walsh. I'm currently an FA observer, a retired referee, and a head coach for the Middlesex Referees Academy.
Hi, my name is Matthew Ray. I've affiliated in multiple counties across England, currently in Gloucestershire, and have refereed from grassroots through to professional academies.
I'm Nigel Hicks. I've been a Supply League match official for the best part of 30 years, and I'm an experienced football administrator.
Hi, my name is Aaron Mendonca. I've been involved in football for over 30 years, first as a player and then as a referee.
Hi, I'm Jenna Scalacci, former professional footballer. I'm now a head coach on a Tottenham College programme.
Good morning, my name is Leo Donnellan. I'm an ex-professional football player, having been with Chelsea, Fulham and Leyton Orient.
Good morning, my name is Roger Wheeler. I'm a referee and I have been refereeing and lining for more than 30 years.
Good morning, my name's Hugh Gilroy. I'm a referee, mentor, tutor and observer.
Hi, my name's Renee Hector and I play football for Watford FC Women and I'm a coach for Tottenham Hotspur Foundation.
Judges, please now come to a final panel decision. For your reference, the larger white cross is the calculated average of the 10 individual selections.
Thanks very much, George. Good morning, everybody.
Good morning.
Good morning, Matt.
So we've got two players in shot. One player at the front in looks like he's in purple. It seems to be looking straight up, and we can see we can see his eyes, pupil, and I believe it's looking straight up above him. His arms are up, so I think he's anticipating the ball, frowning. And the player in red and white looks like he's looking at the ball, possibly with the intention to try and come over the top of the player. He's got his arm up against the player. But let's draw some lines. We've got two good eyes from this player, and we're going above through Leo's and below through Rogers. And we've got two choices down the bottom, which is Nigel and Rogers, and Leo and Matthew at the top. And then looking up from the player, we've got quite a tight line going up here, again, slightly through Leo's, and then it'll get a bit wider as it goes through the bottom two and also Hugh's to the right here. So Hugh, I'll come to you first. I'll magnify yours here and then put the magnifier over your cross. How did you see the photo and the challenge and what was happening?
Thanks, Matt. Yeah, two players in shot. I felt, as you alluded to, I think the red players are going to come in and challenge for the ball. I also felt the player at the front with his arms out was kind of positioning himself either to challenge for it or to kind of move backwards and potentially try and bring it down. I wasn't sure whether he was going to jump and meet it yet. Felt it was in front of them slightly, both of them. I think Kieran said it before, it's hard for a player to look up straight through their own eyebrow. So for me, yes, he's looking up, but I just think he's still that little bit in front of him.
Okay, thank you very much. So we have a main cluster in the front with Hugh just slightly out to the right, and we've got two choices, as I said earlier, above and below. So I'll come to the lowest one first, Roger. Again, it's magnification there, and then I'll put the magnifier over your choice. How did you see the photo?
Yeah, as you said, Matt, I think the purple player is on the ground, the sort of waiting for the ball to drop. Possibly the red player looks as if he's moving. He's possibly just in the air. I found this difficult because there's no context. We don't know really what's happening else on the pitch. There are no other players in sight, so it's just a question of where are they looking. And I agree that the purple player is looking up slightly in front of him, but the red player is we've got two eyes, but for me, he was looking pretty much sort of out straight. I couldn't see any whites of his eyes sort of underneath or over the top of the pupils, so I had him looking a little straighter out.
Yeah, okay.
That's how I got to where I got to.
Yeah, and so I'll come straight to you, Nigel. You're just above Rogers here, and if you could explain your choice, that would be lovely.
Thank you, Matt. Yeah, well, morning, everyone. So, much as Roger did, I felt the player in red his head is tilted back slightly, so he's looking up a little bit, but I feel he's looking straight out 90 degrees from his face, and I took that view from both eyes. I didn't really think his eyes were looking up in his head. Couldn't see the whites underneath him. Feel the player in front. I think they're probably both fairly planted in the ground, but I feel if anything, the player in front is probably crouching slightly. And I feel the ball was just dropping onto his head there. I didn't feel particularly he might jump. I think he's just balancing himself or waiting for that contact. That's all.
Okay, thank you. So next, Leo, you're just above here. I'm magnifying your choice. Could you please explain what you think was happening in the shot and the challenge, etc.?
Yes, Matt. The player in purple for me, I think his head is very tilted, backwards. I think the ball's dropping into him. He might control it, he might head it, but I think he's pretty set with his arms out and his body position's sort of quite strong in that regard. I think the player in red and white, for me, both his eyes, he was looking steeply. So I just felt with both eye lines where they crossed is where I put my cross.
Yeah, thank you very much. And Matthew, you're just below Leo's choice here. And again, I'm highlighting your yellow cross. How did you see the photo?
Yeah, I agree with Leo on the player in red. I do think he's looking steeper. I don't think he's looking in the angle that his head is. So if what I mean by that is sort of the line between his ear and his eye. I don't think he's looking in that direction. I think he's looking higher. His eyebrows are raised. His head's tilted slightly back. So yeah, I think he is looking higher than most here. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. As I said, we've got two below and two above, and you see whereas I highlight it here. If I just for to explain to the people, it shifts it a little bit, but not a huge amount. It shifts it ever so slightly away. So I think it's fair to say that the lower and the higher choices balance each other out somewhat, although we will come back and have a chat about that in a little while. Ari, you're just here in the center of this sort of main cluster in the middle of the other five judges. I'll just go and find you and highlight you. How did you see the photo and the challenge?
Thanks, Matt. Well, similar as my colleagues already said, I felt the player in purple is in control of the situation. I think that the ball is dropping on him. He has his arms open, his head is tilted. I think he's waiting for the ball to come to him. Player in red and white, he's trying to unbalance the player, I believe, because his right arm seems to be on the back of the player in purple, and he's looking at the ball. But I didn't felt that he was looking that high. That's why I placed the cross where it is.
Yeah, thank you. I'm in agreement with you there. And then Rene, you're just here highlighted again. You're in the middle of this, just to the right of Ari and myself. And I'll put the magnifier over yours. How did you see the photo?
Yeah, pretty similar to everybody else, to be honest. Obviously, I think they're both challenging for the ball. The player in red and white, I think, is trying to come through the back. He's obviously got his hand on the back of the purple player to potentially try and come over the top of him or to try and put him off balance. My cross is just ever so slightly to the right, because I think I've said before, I think if it's directly above your head, then it's likely the ball is going to sail over your head. And the purple player's eyes, I just feel like he is looking, he's not really straining to look up, like directly above him. I do feel like his eyes are looking a little bit diagonal in front of him. So that's why I placed my cross there.
Yeah, thank you very much indeed. And Jenna, you're just here, just above the top of this main cluster here. I'll go and highlight yours. How did you see the challenge and what was happening?
Yeah, similar to what's already been said. I think the ball's coming into the player in purple. He's got his arms up. He's ready to leave the ground to meet the ball. And I think the player in red, I think he's in motion, and I think he's about to, try and disrupt the guy in purple, just put him off balance, I think. But I think I've gone a little higher just because of the frowns on the forehead of the player in red. So yeah, I think the ball's coming into the player in purple, and the guy in red's trying to disrupt the play.
Yeah, thank you. And lastly, Liam, you're just here at the bottom of our sort of middle cluster, and I'll highlight yours. How did you see the photo and the challenge?
Thanks, Matt. Red and white player, again, agree with you on that he was going to jump for the ball. I worked on his head angle, and I just felt that his eyes were looking just that little bit up. Regard the guy in the dark shirt, his body's vertical, but I agree with the comments made by Hugh and Rene that can't not looking. We've had this discussion before about looking through your brow line, that the ball was just slightly in front of him. Excuse me, and there we really head open. He could be possibly going to open up his chest to control the ball, as Leo said. That's about it.
Yeah, thank you very much. So at present, I feel that Hughes, although he's in the middle of, or to the right, the main cluster, is far enough out the way. If I remove him, the centre of the ball comes up in basically through the middle of our choices, and we get, I would say, an even spread either right to left. And with Hughes back in, it pulls it a little bit exponentially too far over to the right for me, which here we only really have two to the right of the cross. So I'm going to redraw some lines from this player up here, and it is ever such a narrower quadrant up. And if I put Hughes back in, it is enough, I think, to bring the ball into the centre. And we discussed earlier that the two at the top and the two at the bottom really but cancel each other out, and we can't have too many of those choices removed, because although they're outside the magnifier, it would just leave 5 choices in the middle to judge, which I don't think is a correct way to do it. So I'd like a panel vote to proceed as we are showing now, but with Hughes removed. And as just to remind you, Hugh, I'm afraid you don't have a vote on this. So I will start by saying this is my preference to go with the calculated average with Hughes removed. I'll come to you first, Liam.
You put Hugh back in for me just quickly, Matt. Thank you.
Yeah, and that's what I was alluding to, that the average here now,
and then hold the magnifier with him in. Hold the magnifier on the average, please. Yeah. I'm gonna ask for him to remain, please.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you. Matthew?
Hugh removed.
Yeah, okay. Nigel?
I would go Hugh remain, please. Thank you.
Yeah. Okay. Ari?
I would leave him in as well.
Yeah, okay. Jenna?
Removed.
Okay. Leo?
Remain.
Roger?
Remain, Matt, for me.
Okay. Rene?
I would keep him in and rather remove the other 4, I think.
Yeah, but we're not voting on that. So, okay. Hugh? Oh, sorry, you don't get a vote. So, from a voting panel, we decided to go with the calculated average with Hughes to remain. So George, after a good discussion and a vote, we are proceeding with the average with all 10 choices remaining.
Great, thanks, Matt. If everyone's happy, please go ahead and click submit. Thank you, judges. The coordinates selected are 2310, 1188. These coordinates will now be passed to the auditing company ASITS to calculate the winner of the competition, and they will then inform BOTB. That concludes the judging process. Thanks again.
Thanks, George.